Well, good morning, everybody. My name is Mike at FilmBoy24, and welcome to another episode of Found Film. We have a doozy for you today. I'm really excited to get into this one. We have a bit of a mystery that has to be solved. We have some old Plus-X 7276 from the early 90s, and we'll talk about that in just a second. And we're going to have to figure out who this person is, and that's coming up. Well, if you're new to my channel, thank you. I really appreciate you popping in. Like I said in the intro, I'm Mike. I have been shooting and enjoying analog media for about 40 plus years, 41, 42 years. Film, some tape, digital tape, whatever you call it, high 8 millimeter, VHS, all that good stuff. But my heart has always lied, not lied, but lied in film, namely cine film, old cine film, Super 8 millimeter, 16 millimeter primarily. But I also have a real deep passion for processing movie film and processing, more specifically, old expired movie film. It's a bit of an art form, and it's something that I've been doing for several years now and really enjoying it. What comes along with that is a lot of mystery. Because you see, I have this playlist or series here on YouTube called Found Film. I have a couple of playlists. We're at Found Film number 77, and that's where we find a really old roll of film, or somewhat old roll of film, like this. Not one that was already processed, like this, but one like this, that it's still sealed inside this little light-proof memory box here, this little Super 8 cartridge, and no one, including the person that shot it or the persons that are within it, have ever seen it before because it's never been processed until now. But wait. Well, we have a doozy here. We have some old Plus-X that I got in a pretty considerably large lot of film on this enormous auction website. I think you can work out which one that was. I got an insane deal. Wow, all these adjectives. I got a really good deal on 48 cartridges of, of Super 8 film. Now, of the 48, 45 of them were fully exposed. They came from a seller in Pomona, California. And if you're not familiar with Pomona, like I wasn't 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago when I got the film, it's in the eastern quadrant of Los Angeles County. I got 48 rolls. Like I said, 45 of them were fully exposed. Let me show you a picture of exactly what I got. Now, if you look on the far left, that is 13 cartridges of Plus-X 7276. In the middle, I have 17 fully exposed cartridges of Tri-X 7278. That's the Kodak number. And on the right, you will see 19 fully exposed cartridges of K40 or Kodachrome K40 Super 8 film. Now, the Kodachrome film, a lot of it came in boxes. Well, a lot of the film itself came in boxes, as you can see. But there's no expiration or process before dates typically on Tri-X or Plus-X. The Kodachrome did have some, and I'll tell you most of them were in 97 or 1998, which puts the film manufactured in 95 through 96, 97, something like that. So we're talking about late 90s for the Kodachrome. We're talking about probably late 90s for the Tri-X because I've already processed a couple of rolls of that. And we're talking about 1991 for this roll. And what I mean by that is Kodak used to put edge codes or little symbols on the edge of their Super 8 film, well, all of their motion picture film, but on Super 8 film, it's along the edge where the perforations are. And you could look at those little symbols, a series of one, two, or three symbols typically, and you could work out what year that particular roll of film in your hand was manufactured. This one here had the symbols. I label everything, an X, a plus, and an X. That means this particular roll of film was manufactured in 1991, according to Kodak's very own website. Now, what that tells me is, at the very least, this film was not shot prior to 1991. Now, it could have been shot yesterday, but it wasn't, because that would have had to have been me. In other words, sometime between 1991 and now. Well, typically, 95% of the time, they were purchased and then shot. And that's, I think, what we're dealing with here. Now, the mystery. Okay, so I'm not going to give too much of it away. We're going to show you the film. Now, I process all of this stuff myself. I did this in HC110B. And then I scan it myself. I have my Movie Stuff 4K scanner. And then from there, I show it to you, so long as it's not wildly inappropriate. Oh, one more thing before we show the film. Along with that lot, the 48/45 fully exposed rolls of Super 8 film, I also got, hold on, this from the same seller. Now, it was in a different listing, but I believe it's from the same lot. I think it's from the same, what should I say, estate where the seller got it from. This is 6, 5 of which are fully exposed, 200-foot cartridges of Super 8 film. Voila. Essentially, exposed-wise, it's equal to 20 of these 50-foot cartridges. Now, I will say, these I process in a Lomo UPB-1A processing tank right here in my house. I do it all by hand. And with that tank, you can process up to 50 feet of film before you have to cut it, and then another 50 feet. It'll do 2 at a time, but only 50 consecutive. So this being 200 feet, I'd have to cut this 4 times, which I don't really want to do. So we had a fella named Jeffrey from Pixology Studios that 3D printed this for me. This is the G-Now processing reel, I guess spiral, and it will hold 100 feet continuous of Super 8 or 16 millimeter movie film, and 35. So I'm going to try this so that I only have to cut this film 1 time to process it myself. Stay tuned, we'll see what happens. But while I'm putting this away, I'm going to show you this film, and then we're going to come back and we're going to talk about this mystery. Here it is. Pretty cool, huh? Like I said, it's an interesting film. I think we've only had maybe one other film that was that cool or that interesting, that had subject matter that we don't typically see. This isn't kids opening Christmas presents or Easter or a birthday or a wedding. This is a young man, and again, we're going to get into this in 1 second. I'm pretty sure I know who that young man is that's taking the photographs, but it's a young man in a professional setting taking photographs of what I believe to be an album cover. Okay, so here's what I know. I know, and I'm 99.73625% sure, that the young man that you see with the Hasselblad 120 camera, I think it's 120 or 620, 120 probably, is a gentleman by the name of Darius Anthony. There's some other things that have led me to believe that's who this gentleman is. Sadly, he is no longer with us. I believe he passed away in 2014. He was an assistant for some time to the famed Norman Seeff photographer. Look him up, Norman S-E-E-F-F, back, I believe, in the 1980s. Very well known, just real organic, gritty, natural photographer of musicians and actors and celebrities and just people in general. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful pictures. So this gentleman here, I believe, was an assistant to him for some time and then moved on his own and produced a pretty decent catalog of album covers in his time. I have no idea who the man is that he is photographing. Clearly he has some assistants and helpers and whatnot. Looks like he's possibly out on a balcony overlooking maybe the ocean. Maybe this came from Pomona, California. I believe I mentioned that in the beginning. So maybe he's on the, coast in California. Maybe he's in Florida. Maybe I'm not real sure where this is taking place. But that's part of the intrigue and the mystery. Back to the guy with the white suit on, the fellow with the white suit. Now, I've done some reverse Google searching and some sort of, I'll put a little picture just to jog your memory, some searches and whatnot, trying to figure out who this guy might be. He might be at the time, low-level artist. I don't know. I don't think so, probably, or could have been. I really don't know. The name Al Jarreau came up a couple of times. If you don't know Al Jarreau, he was a musician prominent in the 80s and 90s. Very gifted, beautiful voice musician. There are some similarities between the two. However, comparing and having other people look at it, we've come to the determination that's probably not him. I don't know. I'm not sure who this person could be. But I would love to find out. I really would love to find out. I'd love to know what's going on here. There may be some more answers somewhere within the other, 12 rolls of this Plus-X. I'm wondering that maybe the Plus-X was for that particular photo shoot. I don't know. We'll find out because I'm going to do it eventually. I did 2 rolls of the Tri-X, and I will tell you both of those rolls were later in the 90s and had nothing to do with this. But I'll get to those later in other episodes. We are going to show those. So I'm super excited about what this may bring. I don't know. And I'm also looking for a playlist name for this particular group of films. Like we did the Cameraman Mike's sound film box set, all from the Arcadia, California area. And we're almost through that entire playlist or that entire batch of 54 films that we had there. If you haven't seen that, you really need to check that out. I have tons of found film on this channel. That some of it's super interesting. We had one where they were shooting something with a big Aeroflex 35mm camera. So if you're interested in found film, lost memories, that kind of thing, check out those playlists because they have tons of it. If you recognize anybody in this film at all, I really would love for you to leave a comment or contact that person or their families and lead them to this video. Maybe you should share the video. Share this video and let's try to find out who that is. Like I say, I believe I know who the photographer is, but I'm not sure who he is photographing. Let's figure it out together. I hope you enjoyed this little jaunt down memory lane If you did, you can show it to me right now by tapping that little thumbs up button. I think they call it the like button. I have it blue. I don't think it turns blue on anything anymore. If you think I've earned it, how about you hit the subscribe button? Like I say, I have 77 of these found films, and I have no intention of stopping. I have a couple of hundred more to get through, and I keep getting them regularly. I probably have 250 that are still unprocessed. It's a long process, by the way. And until the very next time that I see all of your beautiful faces, especially yours, this is the goofy thing I do at the end every video. I'll see all of you on the very next go around.